What if I told you that just witnessing somebody in your family fail at something could have implanted a bug deep in your subconscious mind that is affecting your ability to create the life of your dreams to this very day? Maybe it was witnessing somebody fail at marriage. Maybe you saw someone get divorced. You saw somebody fail at a business venture. Maybe you saw them try to quit an addiction or to lose weight, and it just didn't work out. And now you look at your life and you're kind of seeing some parallels being drawn. Congratulations, that's the first step. I'm going to teach you how to break out of the rest of that whole mindset that can destroy a person's entire life. And I want to tell you a bit about my story, okay? Because if you can see where I live right now, I live in Mexico. It's so beautiful here. I'm a strange person. I thought I could never travel. I thought I could never afford to move away. But here I have a whole thriving career online. I used to work at the mall. Okay? I used to work at call centers. Okay? And even now, to this day, there's still something in my mind that tells me, like, girl, no one's going to buy that, or no one's going to show up. You know, I have a pre-sale launch party for my new book, my new ebook that I wrote that's coming out in a few days. And there's something in my mind that's like, girl, nobody wants that. Meanwhile, I have sales and money in my bank account that pay my bills that prove that voice wrong. And I have these little voices that come up still all the time in many different areas of my life that I have to work against, like taking weeds out of a garden constantly. And, you know, recently I had a few of my rotten old family members pop up and start squawking off their mouth, talking about, you know, the version of me they knew when I was an 8-year-old who needed help but never got it. And these people pop up here, you know, 30 some odd years later going, Adele doesn't know what she's doing. Adele is this and that and the other thing. It's just crazy, right? Many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was born to a single teenage mother who was a new immigrant in Canada. And on top of this, she had a lot of mental health issue problems. And so, yeah, she would just leave me at home for 8 hours while she would go to work at some minimum wage thing. And I was in a crib. And, you know, honestly, this is where I started learning how to look at things in the horizon, plan how to get there, and go by myself. I remember planning to get out of that crib from a very young age, and crawling and getting upstairs and everything else. And, you know, later in life, things just became even more difficult. She had alcoholic boyfriends who would want to kick me out of the house when I disagreed with them. So here I was, like, trying to, gosh, is it ever hard to figure out what you want to do when you're in your teens? When you're just, like, been trying to survive and get by your whole life, and now they're like, all right, you got to make a huge commitment and decision. And what you want to do for your future. I'm like, I have no idea who I am. While people were working on making connections, you know, fostering these long-term childhood friendships, growth, I was focused on basic survival. You know, imagine going to high school from 8 to 4 and then working at the mall from 5 to 9. When are you gonna, you know, do the team sports and the volunteering and the hanging out with your friends and planning for college and everything else? I didn't have any of that, you know, and these losses compound over time. And now I'm in my 40s, and do I have childhood friends? No. Do I have, you know, lifelong friendships? No. You know, not only that, but I grew up in a neighborhood that my parents could afford, which was not the kind of people that, you know, are focused on growth and development. I am probably the only woman in my lineage that I am aware of who has reached mid-age and is not morbidly obese. I practice martial arts. I walk a lot. I take care of my diet. These things are really important to me. I don't have any active addictions, although I have battled immensely with food in the past, and also love addiction. These were things that were extremely difficult for me to conquer, and I would never be so blatant as to claim that I have mastered them fully. I need to work on these things every single day. So I grew up without support. I had a lot of the deck stacked against me. I had autoimmune issues, pretty severe inherited conditions, heart conditions from a young age, skin conditions, allergies, autism, all of that. I had all of the things. On top of just being, a really, really sensitive and poignant kind of person. So I felt the depth of the lack of this and the indignity of the way I was treated very deeply. And I had a lot to overcome. I spent some time in therapy in my 20s and 30s. And I don't think I'll ever be fully recovered or healed, but that's the thing about life. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be good enough and then continually be committed to growth. And that, I'd say that's like where I am in my life.
And this isn't meant to be hard. These are anagrams. Just do the first one only. Go ahead and solve it. An anagram is rearrange the letters to form a word. Just one. Just rearrange those letters to form a word. When you're done, I need to see your hand raised. Okay, keep going. We'll wait. Keep your hands up, please. Just do number one. Don't go on. Don't go on. This isn't meant to be difficult. Okay, put your hands down. Let's just go to number two. Don't even worry about number one. Go to number two. Solve that one. Again, when you're done, I want to see your hands up. Everybody's hands down. We're going to go ahead and do number three. For number three, rearrange the letters, and as soon as you do, go ahead and put your hand up. Here's what you need to know. You were both given two different lists. This side of the room was given these three words. And left side of the room, here you go. They were given bat. What would the word be? The second one, they were given lemon. Brian, the word? Melon. Melon. They were easy. The trick here was both of you were given the third word, which was the same. The third word was cinerama, which was American. Your first two words on this side of my classroom were not solvable. They were impossible tasks. I'm sorry. I know, but here's what we did this for. I was able to induce something called learned helplessness in the left side of the room very easily within about 5 minutes. I want you to think about what happened to you, this left side of the room, when you saw the right side of the room raising their hands because they already had the task done. What happened to you during that time? Jory?
I felt stupid.
You felt stupid?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt rushed.
Felt rushed? Joelle?
I was even more confused.
You were even more confused because they all got it and you were still struggling. Chelsea?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. What happened by the time you got to the third word? Because I'm here to tell you, this side of the room is not significantly more intelligent than this side of the room. That was a random assignment. So what happened to show the differences? Why did you have more of a difficult time with the third word, which was the exact same word? Brian?
My confidence was shot.
What you experienced was a term called learned helplessness.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get out of learned helplessness, okay? And I feel like this is the number one most important skill that anyone can learn in this day and age, especially if you come from a family lineage of, people who are like not encouraging and everything else, which a lot of you have, okay? So the number one thing I wanted to do, well, the first one, challenge. Look at my writing. This is fun. Challenge that negative belief that you have. So I told you that, like, I'll have this voice, it'll be like, nobody wants the things you sell. And I'm like, okay, if that's true, let's go looking for evidence of that. And I'm like, oh, look, I made this much last year off of these things, this. Oh, look at how many people bought that, and that, right? So I'm like, it's literally just a fake, weird little voice that, like I said, comes from your subconscious, it comes from your childhood, and maybe even demon entities. As I've mentioned, I recommend the book Clearing Entities by Frederick Dodson. That helped a lot. But challenge any negative beliefs that come up in your mind. You can also take this as an opportunity to change your thinking. If the thinking that you're coming up with is, I can't do this, just always say, I haven't figured it out yet. If the belief that you're getting is, this doesn't exist, you could change that to, I wonder if this exists. What might it look like for me? Number 2, celebrate all your wins, okay? I'm so bad at this. There's days that I'm like, today was a terrible day, I didn't do anything right, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, you just made $600 on the internet by doing nothing. Even if you failed today because you didn't follow your diet perfectly and you didn't stick to your routine, like, look at what you have done, okay? So celebrate your small wins, track your progress, and break your big goals into tiny little things that you can win. So instead of being like, I failed because I haven't published my next book, you can be like, hey, I won because I wrote the format for the first chapter today. Focus on those small wins. Next, and this is big, change your environment. Get away from those rotten naysaying people. This is honestly, I talk about them like this, hold on. This is actually just human nature. It's a way of keeping the status quo. Ensuring that other people fall in line with everyone else is how you stay safe in the caveman days. And a lot of people just think from the caveman brain and they act from it, and it's natural and normal. It's to be expected. When we're moving higher in our lives, we become aware of it and we don't fall prey to it anymore, right? People who are able to resist intense amount of peer pressure and propaganda are the ones who are thriving now. So this is a really important skill and mindset to be able to access. Number 4 is called optimistic thinking. And this is actually a method that the Seligman, the man who conducted that test, came up with. And it can actually be broken down into 3 parts. And by the way, if you're watching this video, I'm going to make these solutions into a really quick, simple, easy to follow, straightforward video that will be on my second channel. So that if you're ever caught in that mode, you could quickly click onto that video and it will just walk you through the process of getting out, okay? So optimistic thinking. When you hit a setback, instead of thinking, this always happens to me, let's reframe it as temporary, specific, and changeable. This is just for now, not forever. This is a very comforting thought. And it's the truth. It's the truth about good things and about bad things. Specific. Yes, this happened to me in this area, but I'm still capable in other areas, right? Because we tend to think, if I failed at this, I'm a failure at life, right? No. And last, changeable. What can I do differently next time? This is giving ourselves agent instead of being helpless. This is being able to turn all of life and our experiences into a lesson. Number 5, this is my favorite. Take action. Take some action. The longer you wait, the more helpless you feel, and action builds confidence. I remember reading about this in the book, Waking the Tiger. Excellent book by Peter Levine about trauma. There were a group of children who were in a school bus, and the school bus basically got caught in a landslide or something like that. So the whole inside of the bus started filling with dirt. Okay, terrifying. And then the bus could not move. So here they're like, oh my God, we're gonna get buried. And most of the children screamed and froze. But there was one kid that I know, after they conducted the tests on these kids 10, 20 years later to see how the trauma affected them, there was one kid that was not negatively affected by this trauma. And he was the one kid that when this started happening, he started digging, instead of just screaming and panicking. And I know that sometimes when you feel like I can't do anything, you don't know what to do some little inconsequential thing that still moves things forward. Right, so this is what I do when I talk to some writers who I've been meeting with recently. It's like, if you're trying to, you're like, I cannot write this whole book right now. I cannot write this whole chapter. I got writer's block. I have an easy solution for that. That's self-hypnosis. But for those of you who haven't tried it yet, you're still stuck in the old-fashioned way of doing things. Okay, fine. You can't write the book. You can't write the chapter. Can you write the title of the chapter? Can you write the outline? Can you just do something? Do something. You don't want to go to the gym and run a marathon? Okay, can you go and walk on the treadmill for half an hour? That's what I can do when I don't feel like going to the gym. I'm like, just go do this one little thing. And I have to tell you, even if you don't have the confidence to do it, act as if you do. And here's the secret that people don't know. Confidence comes after taking action, not before. So I have many people, I gotta be perfect. I gotta have the outfit. I gotta have the weight loss before I do the thing. And I gotta have the perfect this and that. The confidence and the feeling ready comes from actually taking action and developing that self-respect by the action taken. There are people watching this video right now who have been waiting decades for the confidence to do something. Don't wait, just do it. Next, physical exercise or just being physical, movement. It helps. Learned helplessness can feel like physical stuckness. Oh, think of what that feels like when you feel trapped, right? You feel like you're trying to walk through, a marsh and it's sticking to your feet. You don't feel light and airy. You feel weighed down, your shoulders bow over. So changing your body and your posture can start to free up that energy. Go for a quick sprint. Even just roll your shoulders back. Go and do some crazy dance. I love the Jai-Ho dance. Go do some YouTube cardio dance. One of my favorite things to do is to pick one of your favorite songs and then put cardio dance. And you'll find a cute little lame ass dance routine that you can do on YouTube. And what does it take? Less than 10 minutes and you're in a much better mood. Next, this is quite funny. 7, exposure therapy. Exposure for fear. So if you're afraid of the big thing, try exposing yourself to the little thing and see what happens. For example, post some bad writing on purpose. Post a bad drawing on purpose.
Sat here and posed for 10 minutes. Let me see the product. Is that me? No, it's nice. It's so nice. Oh, I've never looked better. Ooh, where were you? Where were you when it was time for senior photos?
Mommy, I don't think it looks good.
It is fantastic! Oh my God, what's that? Is that hyperpigmentation? Just tell me, okay. You know what? I've never seen nothing like this before. I just want you to just keep it up, okay?
Why was Daddy laughing?
Daddy don't know what he's doing anyway. That's how you say that's a great drawing in French.
Post an ugly picture on purpose. There have been some thumbnails that I've created for this channel and I'm like, wow, my nostrils look gigantic. I don't care, I'm posting it. you know, whatever it is. And I'm like, it's fine. Another thing for exposure therapy, practicing doing things that you're scared of in ways that are less consequential. So I started a second YouTube channel because I was so stuck on my main YouTube channel. I felt like everything had to be perfect and had to be viral and everything else. So I created a second channel where I could just post whatever I wanted, whenever I felt like it, with no consequences. And I didn't have to work hard on the SEO, or I didn't have to think of a plan or nothing. That channel has twice as many videos as this one, and it's currently like 300 subscribers away from being monetized. I never saw that coming. And it's really fulfilling for me. It's helping a lot of people in strange ways. Next, this one was really good for me. Seek mastery, not outcome. So instead of wanting success, try to focus on getting better. Try to view a problem as a skill you can develop instead of a personal shortcoming. So all of these are like ways that we can quickly get ourselves out of learned helplessness, because you deserve to live a much better life than you've probably been sold by everyone else around you. Here are some more videos that will help you get to that place and live your ultimate best life.